I am Vice Admiral HS Malhi. On the passing of my father-in-law, Rear Admiral Kirpal Singh, this eulogy on behalf of the family members is centered around his career in the Navy. Admiral Kirpal Singh retired on 31st March 1977, almost 44 years ago. On his passing, I received hundreds of messages extolling his career in the Navy. Most of these messages were from people or from officers who were not even in the service when he retired. As they say, the peers and the juniors know more about the qualities of an officer than the seniors. Here I would like to read some of the statements made in these messages. Left behind a rich legacy of values, humility, and kindness. He was an institution as well in the service and in retirement. Had total command over fleet operations and handled the ships with great panache. A heart of gold, dignity personified, man par excellence. A paragon of professionalism. A tall figure who shaped the Navy in which we grew. Indian Navy's most revered icon. A gallant, dashing naval officer and a role model of professional competence. An oak has fallen. Raise our toast to a life well lived. Now, how did he become a man he was? The story starts in 1939, when at the very tender age of 14, then Cadet Kirpal Singh was enrolled into training ship Dufferin. Very soon the war started, and on completion of his training in 1941, he opted to join the Royal Indian Navy. He trained at Britannia Royal Naval College at Dartmouth, and on completion of his training there as a midshipman in 1944, he joined the battleship HMS Anson. Anson at that moment was the flagship of the home fleet located at Scapa Flow. HMS Anson was tasked with escorting the Russian convoys to Murmansk via the Arctic Circle. During the voyage, it was damp, chilly, and cold. And Midshipman Kirpal Singh, the only turbaned Sikh in the home fleet, would dutifully tie his turban, make his beard, and report for duty each and every day. He did not ever contemplate removing his turban. At Scapa Flow, at Anchorage, Midshipman Kirpal Singh was tasked with handling of boats, and on many occasions he ferried liberty men from ashore to the ship. On one such occasion, when the sea was very rough, he was bringing his boat alongside Anson with a handful of Royal Marines who were coming back from Liberty ashore. And due to the heavy seas, he was unable to bring the boat to the forward gangway, which was meant for sailors, and took a split-second decision to bring the boat alongside the aft gangway, which was meant for officers, and which he found it easier to negotiate. The admiral commanding the home fleet, Admiral Bruce Fraser, at that time was pacing the deck, and he saw the boat come alongside, handled very deftly by this young, turbaned midshipman. He was very impressed, and soon after, he took him on as his aide, or as in naval parlance, as his doggy. Admiral Bruce Fraser then went on to command the Pacific Fleet and took along Midshipman Kirpal Singh with him. In the waters of Indonesia, flying his flag on King George V, the latest battleship, they faced a large number of kamikaze attacks from the Japanese Navy. After the war, Admiral Kirpal Singh underwent the long gunnery course at Whale Island, and on the country attaining independence in 1947, Admiral Kirpal Singh, or rather then Lieutenant Kirpal Singh, was appointed as the ADC to the first Indian Governor General, Shri Raja Gopalachari. He was the only ADC, unlike at the present when we have 3 to 4 ADCs for the President. He became quite close to the Governor General and traveled with him extensively throughout the country. At a very young and tender age, Admiral Kirpal Singh came very close to important personalities and learned a great deal after working closely with them. He went on to command 4 ships: INS Tir, INS Ganga, INS Brahmaputra, and INS Vikrant. As a young commanding officer, the rank of Lieutenant Commander on Ganga, he took part in the joint exercises at Trincomalee, in which all the Commonwealth navies took part. INS Ganga was awarded the prize for being the best ship in anti-submarine warfare under his command. He took command of INS Vikrant in 1969 at a very young age, and as you are aware, at that point, INS Vikrant was Indian Navy's only aircraft carrier. And very soon, in 1973, 48 years of age, he was given the command of the Western Fleet, the sword arm of the Navy. He was also instrumental in undertaking modernization of the naval dockyard and the present South Breakwater and the steam test house are the legacies which he left behind for the Navy. His career in the Navy was defined by his quest for excellence in whatever he set out to do, circumscribed by sound ethical values, high integrity, and utmost loyalty to the service and country. An excerpt from the poem If by Rudyard Kipling would perhaps place his outlook to life in perspective. And I quote, "If you can walk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it." I can do no better than to quote Field Marshal Chetwood's immortal lines inscribed on the portals of most military academies, which truly embody Admiral Kirpal Singh's principles of leadership. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always, and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of your men you command come next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety come last, always, and every time. Admiral Kirpal Singh, a leader of men, officer and gentleman, and a true patriot. I salute thee.